So let me start with a joke. Peter McKinnon, Mr. Beast and Casey Neistat walk into a bar. They sit down and after a 5-second long mini ad break, the bartender says to them, "You guys are just here for the keywords, aren't you?" Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, the number one place for people who love design, art and all things creative. My name is Laszlo, you are watching Dancier and Balog's channel, and in this video we're going to take a deep dive into some big topics like creative burnout, mental health and YouTube, everything that I think is wrong with algorithms, and the long-term effects of algorithm-based content creation in general. Yeah, all of that. Let's go! So here in the UK it's Mental Health Awareness Week, and as it happens I came across with some very alarming statistics over the weekend in regards to the creative sector and mental health. Inspire Wellbeing, which is an Ireland-based charity organization, has conducted a research a couple years ago, and they have found that people who work in the creative industries are 3 times more likely to develop mental health problems, as opposed to workers of any other professions. Anxiety, depression, alcohol and drug misuse are present in creative professionals' lives in much higher rates than the general population. What's even worse, as I was reading my way through all these arguably sad and shocking statistics, I didn't particularly feel surprised by any of these at all. Please note before we go deeper into this topic that I am not by any means a health expert, so everything I say in this video is either my point of view or data that is backed up by research conducted by people much smarter than me. I'm gonna leave some links down below in the description if you guys want to do your own research as well on this topic. The thing is, a creative piece of work always feels personal to its creator, which means we are willing to work on it harder and longer, oftentimes sacrificing our well-being, for much less of a reward. Because creation comes from the heart, it's a bit like our, it's a bit like our baby, right? And we all think that it's going to be worth it in the end, once the project is finished. Once it's all done, we get to rest, right? Well, no, that was the old creative model. Enter the 2010s. The decade of algorithm-based content creating. Algorithms, eh? Algorithms. Such a funny, complicated word that, 5 years ago the average person wouldn't even know how to begin to spell. And today we all think about that word on a daily basis. I know I do. On paper, these suggestion-based systems, recommendations were a great idea. You get to the content you wanna consume quicker, right? You don't need to worry about chewing your way through irrelevant stuff. You don't see adverts which have nothing to do with your needs, or in fact any content that disagrees with your lifestyle or your worldview. Great! Well, not great, but The problem arises once the system decides that now you have left a big enough online footprint that they can work with. And from that moment they get to push only the kind of content in front of you which somewhat resembles the stuff that you have come across with before. And that I find incredibly frustrating. I hate the fact that I follow about 1,000 people on Instagram and still every time I log in I keep seeing the same 20-25 people's posts. I hate the fact that I need to go out of my way to find new YouTube channels, which oftentimes provides just as great, if not better content than the bigger ones. Forget getting your work judged by an audience. The audience doesn't even show up because they can't find you. Sometimes I do wonder if instead of making all these meticulously scripted videos, what if I just spent 10 minutes shouting keywords in front of the camera and be like, Casey Neistat, Mr. Beast, Peter McKinnon, PewDiePie, Casey Neistat, Mr. Beast, Peter McKinnon, PewDiePie, Casey Neistat, Mr. Beast. And this nonsensical, meaningless video would probably rank higher in search than any of the other videos I have done so far. And don't get me wrong, big channels are big channels for a reason. I mean, Peter McKinnon, for example, is so incredibly talented making videos for YouTube that he could make a video about peeling potatoes and it would be mind-blowing. I mean, I would watch that. But at the same time I can totally see how this current system is discouraging newcomers. People stop trying prematurely, or they just start making content that they are not passionate about in the hopes of ranking higher in search. We start this endless race chasing our own tails with the algorithm, worrying about things like having the right keywords in the video, only posting at certain times of the day, or what colors to use in the thumbnails. Things that are in no way, shape or form influence the quality of the actual content. And this is what burns people out really quickly, leaving them anxious or depressed if they don't pay attention to the early signs of these mental issues. When I was a kid I always thought that the people who are stressed at work are the 40-something blokes with their suitcases and their ties. The age-old Hollywood movie cliché, daddy can't show up for his son's baseball practice because he's stuck at the office. Again, now in present day, if you just have a quick look, you can find that almost every big YouTuber is touching on these subjects of burnout, mental issues and creative block. 20-something-year-old boys and girls are feeling overworked in this hustle culture that's going on these days. This fact alone should be worrying enough. I mean, if the big channels are feeling this way, how do you think the small ones are doing? Talking from personal experience, I had some darker times in my life when I felt like my professional career, or in fact this whole YouTube thing is going nowhere. I'm still struggling with this sometimes. I'm very familiar with the feeling of worrying about things that are beyond your control. And no matter what anyone else is saying online, things like the algorithm and social media platforms, they are beyond your control. Algorithms change way too quickly to ever fully comprehend them. Recently, one of my favorite YouTubers, Holly Exley, has made a great, very honest video about how she thinks Instagram is not good for artists anymore. How it's ruining illustrators' careers by forcing them to produce unrealistic amounts of content, while also pressuring them to use their new, trendy, shiny but totally irrelevant functions like Reels and IGTV and all that. Another video that really blew me away in this topic is made by this girl called Amanda Marianna, I hope I pronounced it right, who argues that even if you go viral, that doesn't help, because that creates these unrealistic standards that you set by your own past self. You know, like an 80s band with a one-hit wonder, you will spend the rest of your days trying to recreate the same level of success, which again can very easily lead to burnout and depression and other issues. Social media is a catch-22 at this point. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. And we are all affected by it, really. Even if you don't consider yourself a content creator, your place of work's future can be decided by the level of search engine optimization they are doing. Algorithms at this point influence every aspect of our lives, from political views to what are you planning to watch next on Netflix. Now, after all this complaining, do I have a solution to offer for content creators? Well, yeah. Kind of. I'm not saying that I'm beating the YouTube algorithm in any way, but I feel like I have found a way of creating that works for me. I'm quite simply rotating topics. On week 1 I would do a video geared towards graphic designers. These are our tutorials or software tips, industry insights. Then on the following week I would make a more conceptual, arty video where I would talk about illustrations, books, movies, whatever I find inspiring at the time. Then on week 3 I make a video like this one, all about content creation and the use of social media in your creative practice. And Jacqueline does the same with her interior architecture and interior design videos. Some of them are for the professionals and some of them are for people who only have casual interest in architecture and design. Now some might say that our channel is not niche enough for quick growth because of all this wiggle room we have given to ourselves between topics. But honestly, this is the only way me and Jacqueline don't feel like we are being chewed on and then spat out by the spiral of YouTube algorithms. This diversity does mean that certain videos and topics will outperform others in this channel. This video, for example, is probably not gonna get as much views as some of our more fun, light-hearted tutorial type stuff, but I don't care, because this is the content that I want to make. These are the conversations that I want to start and encourage in this channel, even if it only gets heard by a selected few. You know, rumor has it that most Hollywood actors do this kind of rotations in terms of their careers as well. The average actor would do something arty for themselves, then they would do something which is a bit more like, you know, blockbuster material, then they would do one as a favor because they happen to be good mates with the director. So our method is nothing radical. Keep that on mind. Whenever you're feeling down about yourself or your work, just make sure you take the time to step out, remove yourself for the situation and try to understand why you are feeling the way you are feeling. I know it's a very cliche thing to say, but the amount of likes and subscribers and the numbers on the screen, those numbers shouldn't be the way you are measuring your success. Also, don't forget, even if your post only get like, 50 or so views, that's 50 actual human beings who went out of their ways, stopped whatever they were doing at that given moment, and they graced you with their attention. That is a privilege in itself, and that shouldn't be taken lightly. So, in return, provide them with authentic content that you care about. Focus on the craft and make the content that you want to see out there to build your like-minded tribe. And as the ever-wise Steve Martin has said when they asked him about the key to success, be so good that they can't ignore you. Okay? Guys, I hope this didn't come out too preachy. While you are here, join our design tribe if you're into this kind of content. We aim to give you 2 videos every week about art, design, illustration, interior design, architecture, all those cool things and everything in between. Leave a like if you enjoyed this one and I'll hope to see you this time next week. Bye!